Good evening and a warm welcome to the All Arsenal Review show. A big welcome back first and foremost to Mr. Arsenal 89 himself. Ryan, how you doing, mate? You're on mute, by the way.
I'm getting there. Saturday didn't help things, but I'm getting there.
Good man, good man. It's great to have you back, mate, and I'm really glad that you obviously took the opportunity to come on tonight. So that's thank you very much.
No problem.
Good evening to Georgina. How are you?
Very good, thank you. Had some great calls this morning saying, "I bet you're happy." So yeah, it's going all right.
Yeah, it weren't a bad weekend, was it? And I know we're going to delve into what happened from last week into this week. All good in the hood at the moment regarding both the men and women's games. So we're going to duck in a minute. But by the way, guys, I am on hosting duty tonight and I am struggling badly. Still suffering from Saturday. So I think I'm getting too old for this game. Good evening to Ozzy. How you doing, mate? For a debut on the show for yourself.
Yeah, good. Thank you. Thanks for having me on. My voice is just about recovered from Saturday. I sounded like Sean Dyche yesterday, so I'm glad it's recovered for this show anyway. Thanks for having me on. It's a great pleasure.
No, it's a pleasure, mate. And do you know what? In some ways, I'm kind of glad that Chelsea's been cancelled this Saturday now, because
right.
Monday night's not going to be no better. And good evening to Lottie. How are you doing? A debut for you on our show. Thank you for coming on.
Oh, thank you. What do you mean Chelsea's cancelled? Chelsea's Friday night. What are you talking about?
Yeah, sorry. we could have had a double whammy over them this weekend, couldn't we?
Yeah, definitely.
That would have been absolutely glorious if we'd beaten them twice in 2 days. Definitely.
There's a reason why we don't pay them at the bridge. This is going to be fun.
No, we'll get discussing all that very soon. We are going to go into obviously the women's game first and foremost because there was a game last Wednesday, and I'm going to go straight over to Lottie because I know you was at the game on Wednesday. Obviously Arsenal 4, Aston Villa 0 in the Continental Cup semi-final. Quite comprehensive, Lottie. Job well done within the first half hour, really.
No, absolutely. Let's be honest. If you've been watching the Conti Cup, you'll be fully aware that Noel Maritz was played when she shouldn't have been. She was cup tied, unrightly so. Man United should feel cheated because they have been, but Karma's come back and bit them in the backside. Villa are definitely not the team they were last season. It's really kind of disappointing. I did back them for Champions League football this year, and that went down the toilet. I think I might need to back Man United next year, and then hopefully it'll backfire for them. So yeah, no. Happy with the result. Good game. Nice to have Stina back on her second hattie of the season. Well buzzing. Yeah,
because she's a fantastic player, isn't she? Probably one of the most underrated players in the squad, I'd say at times. And massive hat trick for her on Wednesday night. And hopefully she can do the same thing as what she did last year in the final.
Well, she scored in the semi-final to get rid of City last season. She scored in the final last season. She's done a hat-trick in this game. What waits for us, G? Come on, tell me. Is she going to get another one? Please.
Yes. I hope so.
Well, the writing's in the stars, and it does happen, then hopefully she will kind of obviously get that opportunity again to kind of do the double whammy and score in both semi-final and finals. Going over to yourself, Ryan, on that semi-final. Obviously you made your comeback for that day as well, didn't you, on the show? Was you expecting it to be as comprehensive as it was?
I thought we would. I knew we'd win. I didn't feel nervous about the semi-final. I didn't feel like they'd pose any threat, just because I know they've got some good players. Don't get me wrong, but if this is, I said this in the stream as well. If this had been Villa last season, I'd have been more concerned. I don't know what's gone wrong at Villa because they did what they did 5th last year. They've massive improvements in their squad in the summer, and it just hasn't gelled. It hasn't worked. It isn't working for them currently. I think today the rumours going around today that Arsenal are now looking at the goalkeeper they signed last year from the Netherlands. We're looking to sign her now. And again, she didn't even play on midweek on the cup semi-final either. But right from the off, our girls were at it, and you could tell every attack, Villa's defensively does look vulnerable. I just don't get apart from the additions they've made, I don't know what's gone wrong for them. I really don't. But no, I didn't. I thought 3-0 at least. I didn't think it'd be. And to be honest, 4-0 in the end did flatter Villa because we did take it easy in the second half. After disallowed goal, we just went okay and saw the game out as in a professional way. But it is what it is in the final. Bring on Chelsea. I didn't want Chelsea, to be honest, because it's Emma Hayes and all that. But it is what it is.
It'd be great to do it one last time, though. Surely, one last final.
Oh yeah, but my whole thing was, and I said this again last week in the stream, was what are the odds? Chelsea have reached the last 5 finals now, including this one they've just reached now. The first 2 they won. The last 2 they have lost to City and Arsenal, respectively. What are the odds that she's going to lose the last ever one and make it 3 in a row in this competition? And I know they've got injuries, but it's sod's law that's going to come back and bite us in the backside. But like you said, I would like us to have that sort of final jab at her before she pisses off to the States. Even though it doesn't seem like they need her, by the way, the States now. They're doing well now. They won last night, so.
Yeah. No, it's still going to be a cracking final. And obviously, it does give us the opportunity to get one final digging on her. And hopefully we kind of replicate what we did last year. Just going over to you, G. Obviously, Leah back into the team for Wednesday's game. Great to see her back on the pitch, isn't it? And hopefully we can start seeing her on a more frequent basis moving forwards, obviously with her fitness kick increasing.
Yeah, exactly. It's obviously amazing to see her back. And we seem to be giving her the first half to get her minutes and then sort of bringing her off just after half time at the moment, rather than sort of bringing her on at the end of the game. Which I think I wasn't too sure about that at the beginning, but I think now that I guess in the beginning of the game, you're really getting stuck in, aren't you? And her alongside Lotte Wubbemoy, childhood Gooners, is just going to be great to see when they're both at full fitness together for like the first time, really, when you think about it. And of course, it's for her to be back for the final as well, and hopefully some others. Obviously not Viv, but you've got Beth Mead will be back for it, and yeah, it's just we're getting to that point now, luckily, that we're getting through the worst times, and the players are now going to be available for the biggest game of the season, arguably, at this point. Is not to be negative, but it's possibly the chance for silverware, isn't it? So yeah, we got to go out there and get the job done like we did last year and just keep going for it.
Yeah, definitely. I fully agree there. And if I go to you, Ozzy, obviously it is another opportunity for silverware. And this year, obviously, we've had our struggles at times, but they're kind of understandable at times as well, isn't it? With the amount of injuries that we've had to kind of obviously, and the stature of player that we've had out injured from the start of the season, or looking back at the back end of last season, that we're now getting all these girls back, and we're starting to obviously be able to embed them back into the team.
No, it's awesome to see like how easy I've found it to come back into the team. You know, the sort of injuries we're talking about are not, you know, they're not little tweaks, are they? You're talking about ACLs, you know, and the way Mead's come back in to do some fine form. I think Ryan nailed it when he said like that. You know, the 4-0 win against Villa would flatter them. It did. It could have been 6, 7, or 8, couldn't it? It really could have done. But yeah, the injuries that have come back, like obviously Mead and Williamson back, just hit the ground running, haven't they? So no, it's really good to see. Like Mead's in fine form. Obviously, Lotte, you get to see him in person when you go to the games. From what I can see from what I watch on TV, and yeah, fantastic.
Yeah, it is, and it's we're getting to the point of the season, aren't we, where it is going to be quite hard to obviously overcome both Man City and Chelsea. But if we can get another bit of silverware in the club before the end of the season, I don't see why not next year. Especially with Emma Hayes leaving Chelsea, why we can't then potentially finally, if we don't achieve what we need to achieve this year, then we can make that final push to obviously go for the league title next year.
Absolutely.
Going back over to you, kind of, Lottie. Looking ahead as well to kind of Chelsea on Friday. What kind of change? What kind of changes do you see from obviously this team being embedded back into the Chelsea team for Friday from obviously last Wednesday's game?
I can see Kimmy coming back in. instead of Kyra. So we've got that solid middle experience at the part of Volti and Kimmy. Other than that, I don't see Stina starting. It's all right to test run this sort of thing, like Russo through the middle and Stina out. Oh, well, Stina up top. He won't risk it in WSL games. Daphne van Domsla's been injured. That's why we've got that 4-0 scoreline. Villa have got hardly a solid starting 11. They just don't. They don't know what their best 11 is, and so whereas Emma Hayes, she's got the plague of the ACLs this season, as we call it on Vic Acres. It's going to be interesting to see what Lauren James does. If I'm honest with you, she scored a worldie in her last game, but if Katie McCabe can keep her in her pocket, I think we'll be good.
So, you quite confident on Friday that we can go and get some sort of result there?
Oh well, there's a reason why they don't play us. That we don't play them at the Bridge. We've always played them at Kings Meadow. They've never beaten us at the Emirates, I don't think, or maybe once. I know Adam's in the chat. I know he'll correct me on that. Also, their new striker from Colombia, Ramirez, is also injured, which is kind of the ice on the cake. I don't wish anyone to be injured, but it's a case of she's a very good striker. If you watch any of Colombia in the World Cup, you'll know exactly what I mean.
Yeah.
I think, believe me, and she got a bit excited over her over the summer. A bit annoyed she went over to Chelsea, but it is what it is at the moment.
We are going to go into the chat now and say some good evening. So, good evening to Catherine. How you doing? Also, good evening to Ian. Good to see you on the show, mate. Mr. Tom's on the show. Good evening to you, matey. Good evening to Craig as well. Good evening to Adam. Let's keep scrolling down. We got anyone else on there at the moment? Good evening to Alex. Yeah, pretty much. Good evening to everyone. And at the moment as well, Alex has just obviously revealed it's now Chelsea 1, Newcastle 1. Mid-table battle. Just going back over to you, Ryan, regarding Friday's game. What can put us in good stead to get the positive result we need? And do you think we can go there and pick up the 3 points?
Oh, definitely. I think we definitely can. I mean, it'd be a lot more helpful. We had Vivian back, but obviously she's not going to be back till the end of the month by the looks of it for the final because of the setbacks she's had recently. Hopefully, I don't know if Emily can get back because obviously they played their final last night. I don't know if they'll be back in time for Friday in terms of fatigue and all that because of the flights. Just literally play up, no messing about. Literally, protect Zinsberg at all costs because she's got a mistake in her this season. I don't know what it is. I don't want to sound harsh or nothing, but she does have that in her sometimes, and this is a game we don't want to have that happen, especially with Lauren James. But that's the thing. What we did at the Emirates a few weeks before Christmas. Keep Lauren James quiet.
Yeah.
That's half the job done. Frustrate the life out of her. She might kick out and might get away with it again. But that's the half the job done. Keeping her quiet, and then we just got to take our chances when they fall. We all create chances. We've got the players to do it. We've got Steeners, we've got Russos, we've got Vida Marnham, Caitlin Ford, Beth Mead. We've got the players. We've got Pelova, Cooney Cross. I mentioned Pelova already. Leah Volti, she's a CDM. We've got the players to create the chances and take them. It's just about being clinical when it comes because Chelsea, if you don't, they will punish you. We've seen it before, and this will be the last, like we saw the weekend with the men's side of things with Liverpool and City for the Klopp and Pep. This will be the last time Emma Hayes manages against Arsenal in the league for the foreseeable. There you go. You've made it.
You made it big time now, Mr. Tom. You made it big time now. So obviously, some really good points raised there, Ryan. And obviously, with this game Friday, if you can't get out for this game, then you should be turning up at a football pitch, should you really? And we know we'll turn up there and be up for this game because if we're being honest here, it's a do or die game, really, isn't it? If we don't win, the title race is basically gone.
Yeah. That's the extra incentive that should be given to them as well before they walk out as well after the warm ups. There's no, especially not after this week. It's literally how many games left? Had 4 games. He's not a big league, as we know.
Yeah.
In terms of depth, it's do or die now. It's literally, if you any slip ups now, we've made a few already. We can't afford to make any more. Let's be honest. But even without the slip ups being made, you can't afford to make the slip ups now because there's not that much time to recover. Especially after I think after tonight and after Friday. They don't play Man City this season again. So this is their last competitively big gun for the title deciding team that Chelsea have to face this season. Other than that, it's all games they should on paper win, but we can go there, get the result, be it 3 points. That might give them that could do a blow, and also mentally give us an advantage going into the final end of the month. There's a lot of things going into play for this game on Friday, not just for the league, but first and foremost, the league comes first, obviously, because finals not until the end of the month. But yeah, there's so much at play, and the girls have got to take it while they can, because you don't want to give Emma Hayes and her team any advantage going forward for a final league anyway. I don't want, as harsh as it sounds, I don't want Emma Hayes winning anything this season. I think it looks like she's going to win the FA Cup because the only team that really can stop her is United, and they're not going to stop her. Because Man City bowled it yesterday against Tottenham. For anyone that doesn't know, lost on penalties to Tottenham.
And also, Man United have never beaten ever.
There's that as well. And the only other 2 teams that are left are Leicester and Brighton are left in the FA Cup. So it's sort of set up now for at least a trophy for Emma. So,
I think apart from us, I think Ajax is their most difficult fixture for the rest of the season, and that's Champions League football. We've got the double leg coming up. So
unless Barca to the semis.
Oh yeah, Barcelona will have them on toast with a side of seafood.
Going over to G, obviously we kind of discussed on last week's show Kim Little's performance against Spurs. She's going to be massively vital again, isn't she, on Friday? If we kind of get that win. Like I thought she was outstanding against Spurs, and like most games I see her, I think she's like the real lead. Like she's the real leader of the team, but a lot of stuff comes for her drive. Do you expect the same on Friday? Everyone to kind of follow her lead? Yeah,
exactly. She's obviously the captain, but the experience in the team that we need. What she brings anyway, let alone everything else. And I think she's the one that sort of keeps everyone a little bit calm. Because we do have quite a young team, don't we, across the board. And we're just a different animal when she's in the middle. And yeah, I think she's going to be quite instrumental in the game. But I think as well that, although I agree with Lottie, I don't see her getting a chance, but I think Stina deserves a chance. We're also a completely different team when her and Russo are on the field at the same time. And it's, when you watch us, we just look so different. Obviously Stina will go up top, but what like Russo can bring to the midfield and by supporting her, it's kind of like when we briefly saw Stina and Viv like interchanging and stuff the season before. I just think it gives us more. It's something a bit different, but I agree with Lottie. I don't think he's going to change it. He'll sort of go with the usual WSL 11. But yeah, as for Kim, guaranteed starter. And yeah, I do think she'll put in a good performance and hopefully help carry us over the line, because it needs to happen.
Yeah, it certainly needs to happen. Just going over to you, Ozzy. With obviously Emma Hayes leaving Chelsea at the end of the season, do you expect a dip from them kind of next year? Because that's obviously that's going to be a big piece, isn't it? Taking out that Chelsea team.
Yeah, it all depends with new manager, doesn't it? I don't know if they're confirmed who they're going to replace it with, but just looking at the form of them in the last 5, they've won 4 of the last 5, similar to us. We've done, we've won 4 of the last 5 as well. Who knows what it's going to do, but I'll just concentrate on the Arsenal, right? Let's concentrate on what we've got to do. We've got a strong team. Don't try and worry about the others that we're playing, and yeah, it's interesting too. This game's massive on Friday, right? Is it? And you just you can't put anything.
Put it
You
this
can't
way,
put
it's
the
a
teams
3-4
against each other,
place.
can you? It's just, when you look at the teams, you look at, we're looking at the form while we've been chatting, and just look at the form. They've gone away. Chelsea have gone away to Everton, have got a result. Gone City got a result. And there's no momentum. It's an evenly matched tie, and I'm looking forward to watching it on Friday. To be honest, I think it'll be really good. But in terms of Chelsea, whatever Hayes leaving, we don't know what it's going to do. Let's focus on what we're building at the Arsenal, and we, like you say, we're building a great side. You've got some great young players in there, and not like Lottie said about Stina, the goal she scored against Villa. She's just a natural finisher, right? So she's got a stake a claim in that first goal that she just reacted first time hit. Top bins pretty much, wasn't it? She's great. So yeah, she deserves a chance to play on Friday. So if we don't see her starting, at least give her some minutes, because I think she's a big player for me. I like her.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she is a very good player, and I've always felt that at times she's been like the unfortunate person in the squad, due to obviously probably the attacking talent we have got, and with Russo coming in as well. She's kind of taken a little bit of a back seat, isn't she? But do you know what? It takes a minute, doesn't it, to then come back in the team and still start banging in hat tricks, even when you're not playing every game.
That's all you can do, right? If you're not playing regular, all you got to do is take your chance when you come on. And I thought she looked pretty sharp against Sevilla on Wednesday. So I think see what happens. It's not up to us, though, is it?
No, exactly. And obviously, Lottie, you're going to be at the game on Friday, and I can imagine how excited you are for this game. How do you expect the atmosphere to be in the stadium?
It's going to be electric. We're going to outnumber. I'll definitely outsing the Chelsea fans, because all they sing is Chelsea, Chelsea, Chelsea. I wish they'd come up with something new. Sorry, guys. Don't know what that was. But yeah, no, they don't. It's going to be an interesting one to see how many Chelsea fans turn up. If I'm honest with you, I believe they've actually filled up the bridge once.
No.
We've only got 1,000 Arsenal away tickets left, maybe less now, between now and Friday. So we're going to be 6,000 strong with some luck.
That's brilliant to hear, isn't it? That is absolutely great, and hopefully we'll kind of clear out those tickets. So if anyone is available to go to the game, obviously there are some tickets available still to go. So yeah, get yourself down there. Just to some more good evenings quickly. Good evening to Ange. Good to see you on. Also, good evening to Jonesy. He's on as well. His birthday tomorrow, Jonesy. Happy birthday, mate. I'm sure I know you'll be having shots tomorrow because I'll be getting them. Good evening to Mr. Morgan himself. He told me that Ivan Toney's a penalty merchant. I reckon, Ryan, I bet he was shitting it a little bit, mate, when he had that 40-yard effort.
I'm sure he was.
I did think of Mr. Morgan after on that one, thinking how's he going to play that one down. Good evening to BX Gunner. I'm just saying that Isaac with a brilliant equaliser tonight. I'll have to see that later. I'm not really interested in mid-table games though, mate, if I'm being frankly honest here. It's all about the top three at the moment for me. But yeah, good to see you all on. So look, let's go round obviously the houses and go for a score prediction on Friday now. So I'm going to go to you first, Ryan. What are you thinking?
It's a hard one.
If we approach it the way we did at the Emirates in the season in terms of our game plan and don't make the one mistake we did make in that game, 3-0. Embarrass them. I want the embarrassing. We're going to beat them. Embarrass them.
Interesting stuff there, Mr. Fletcher. Interesting stuff. I'm going over to you, G. What's your prediction?
Oh, I'm stuck between like a 2-1 or a 3-2 because it's not going to be easy. I hope it is, but you want it to be a competitive game, don't you, to show off the best and get the best result. But I think I'll go with 2-1 Arsenal. I think.
Cool. Over to you, Oz.
Whenever I'm in doubt, Liam, I'll just go 1-0 to the Arsenal. It just rolls off the tongue, right? So I'm going to go 1-0 to the Arsenal, and let's hope I'm right.
Absolutely love that one, mate. Love that one. And obviously yourself, Lottie, Ange was asking you, do you think we'll get a result at the bridge?
Well, if you play Steno and we get that lovely, wonderful high line from Chelsea, she's going to destroy them. So I'm going to go 3-0 to the Arsenal. I'm backing Manny on this one. She's had 4 clean sheets in a row. I'm going to back her for it.
Good stuff. And yeah, I'm not going to go against the grain. I think I'll get booed out if I go against the grain. I'm going to go with you, G. I'm going to go for a 2-1. 2-1 Arsenal win on Friday. I do agree what Adam says. It's not going to be easy, and you wouldn't expect it to be easy. 2 teams going for the title, but yeah, I've got a good feeling.
To counter that, who would have thought Arsenal beating 4-1 at the Emirates back when we played them earlier in the season when they went into that form?
And let's be honest, that wasn't a 4-1 either, was it, guys? That could have been 6 or 7 that day.
Yeah,
and that was before the ACL plague as well. That's what makes it worse. Sam Kerr was invisible for that game, and it was glorious.
Yeah,
exactly.
Same again, please. we're not greedy, honestly. We're not greedy.
Well, Sam Kerr's in court this week, and she's got an ACL, so she definitely won't be playing. We're good.
No, that is good news. That is good news. Don't need to see her banging the goal in again. Just looking ahead, just quickly before we go over to the men's game. Obviously, I know Ryan, you spoke about obviously the Aston Villa goalkeeper potentially being looked at to bring in the summer. What other key areas would you be looking at in the summer to kind of strengthen?
For me, that's the main area we need to address because I know Zinsberg is trying a new contract, but again, it's only another year. We'll see. She's not, with all due respect, we do, as I say, she's a good goalkeeper, but she's not what we need pushing on forward long term. That's the main area we need to address. Apart from that, we've got Cooney Cross. I think Cooney Cross could be the Kim Little replacement when Kim Little steps down in the next couple of years or so. I think maybe let's look at our defence, let's reassess our defence and see how, in terms of just reinforcements like backups at right back and left back respectively, take some pressure off. Obviously, Laura will be coming back at some point at the end of this season as well. Take the pressure off her so that we don't have any setbacks on that side of things. But not much really. It's just a couple things, and the main thing is the goalkeeping side of things, really. For me, because of the attack, look at the attack we've got. We don't need more attackers in terms of goal scorers or from striker, wing, or midfield. We've got that covered. Midfield, as I mentioned, is covered. So really, it is main focus on the goalkeeping side of things, and maybe a couple squad depth wise for the defence.
Obviously, Adam going a striker, 2 wingers, a 10, 2 midfielders, 2 centre backs, 2 full backs, and a goalkeeper.
Not asking for much, then, Adam. Not asking for much.
Someone's going to be very busy in the summer. Someone's definitely going to be busy. I'm going to go with you, G. Talk to me about obviously this success that kind of happened over the past week.
Yes. Is the first ever women's, I can't say, is it CONCACAF or something?
CONCACAF.
Yeah, I can never say it, so apologies. But yeah, obviously they had a 1-0 win last night to win the competition. But what a ball from Emily, straight into Lindsay Horan to head it in. Yeah, we've said the last couple of weeks that obviously she's not been at Arsenal very long, but her first couple of games, it was like, wow, she is good. Bringing a bit of American flair across with her as well, and she was already up for like, is it what do they call it, like Player of the Month or something? Sorry, my mind has just gone completely blank. And to play like 3 games and be nominated is pretty nuts, isn't it? Just shows how good she is. But it'll be nice to have her back, I think. We said it in the men's game as well. Some of these competitions mid-season just baffle me. Like, there's not necessary to be playing it right now. And obviously we've not only missed her, but we've missed Chloe Cass and Sabrina as well. And then they've all missed the 2 biggest Emirates occasions as well, which is a real shame, because it would have been nice to have them there. But yeah, they're on their way back now, so that's more important, and hopefully they'll be there for the final, can help us get some more silverware.
Yeah, you'd like to think they'll come back confident as well, won't they, with having that winning feeling, and hopefully that can kind of rub off on the team for the rest of the season as well.
Exactly. You just never know what the confidence. Obviously, Emily won it, and I think Canada got to the semi-finals. I think, but all of that, all the experience, the bit of fresh legs in them as well from a different competition, being out of the WSL for a couple of weeks, hopefully can only benefit us. So yeah, looking forward to especially the cast as well, because I think the game she had before she left, she was on fire. So that would be some good momentum to bring back to the team as well.
Yeah, definitely. Right, so that's pretty much obviously the two games we've kind of covered off in terms of the women's game. We're going to move over to obviously the Brentford game on Saturday for the men's team, where obviously Arsenal faced Brentford, 5:30 kickoff at the Emirates. I'm going to go over to you first, Ozzy, on this one. We'll look at obviously the team that was kind of selected from Mikel Arteta. Obviously, Ramsdale came back into the fold due to Raya being obviously ineligible to play, due to obviously Brentford still being his parent club. Back four remains the same. Midfield remains the same. The only change up top was obviously Trossard coming for the injured Martinelli. Was you confident going into this game with that lineup?
I wasn't. I was worried about this being a massive banana skin for the Arsenal because, Ramsdale coming in, I had no issues with that, and we'll talk about that later, I guess. But then the change really is quite obvious that Martinelli took a knock. Hopefully it's nothing bad. It sounds like a cut, doesn't it? I think. But Trossard coming in. I don't know. A lot of Arsenal fans I was speaking to in the pub pre-match. Were very confident. I didn't share that. I just thought it's a bit of a trap fixture because, we've got I was worried that the players are going to have one eye on Porto. We've got Man City coming up. It's one of those fixtures that could have gone wrong for us, and we left it too late to pull it out of the bag really. So I was a little bit nervous. I'll worry a lot about the Arsenal. People that know me, my character, I'm not. I always worry about what sort of fixture we're going to get. And I thought this was a sort of a banana skin for us. Pre-match when this, the team's expected really, isn't it? I don't think we could have thought any different for the starting lineup. But yeah, we, without going into the game too much, I think Ramsdale had a lot of pressure on him riding on it, and I think that's a talking point in itself. I'm one to, I don't know if you want me to talk about the incident leading up to the goal or anything like that, but yeah, he made a mistake, but he made up for it, throughout that match, 100% with two world-class saves. But yeah, going into the game, I think Saturday night's always great for a fixture. I've worked out, it's a way to surround yourself by 60,000 drunk people because the Emirates has been like that for the Newcastle game and for this game. I don't think I've been surrounded by as many drunk people on Saturday nights for a long time. But leading them to that, it's 8 on the bounce now, isn't it? Yeah. Right. So we've got 8 on the bounce, and I think this was a real banana skin fixture. I think last season this would have been a bit ropey, and we've got it over the line. And ultimately, yes, it's a good performance.
No, it's interesting. Like you say, I weren't overly confident. I was confident we'll get the win, but I did think it'd be a tough game. If you look at the history of Arsenal Brentford at home, they've always been quite tight battles. We've never really turned up at home against Brentford and been convincing win. But do you know what? You look at these kind of games, you think like it's quite easy, isn't it, when you've won games 6-0, 5-0. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, well, they always have a game plan, don't they, Brentford? Yeah. Like Thomas Frank always sets up with a game plan, and what you guarantee that Brentford will always be well coached, right? Whenever you play them, they're well coached. And I just think, they did come with a game plan. They tried to slow everything down we did. And a really good test for Porto, actually. It kind of reminded me, it's very good practice for tomorrow night because they did try and slow us down. They tried to stop us starting quick. They tried to hold possession of the ball. They're diving every 5 minutes. And they really, and the referee performance is another thing we can talk about, I think. But yeah, I just think, they set their stall out. They're well coached. And that's why I was nervous because I say we had an issue with these last season, didn't we? And it felt like it was going to end the same way for a bit in that stadium. I don't know what you thought, Liam, being there, but it felt a bit nerve wracking towards the end, which when the 86th minute.
I've got to be honest, I didn't see us scoring when it got into the last 10 minutes. Because it was so stop-start. The only thing I was relying on was how much injury time we was going to get to play, and thankfully we didn't have to go into injury time looking for the goal. But yeah, it was what it did have the ingredients of Bournemouth last year a little bit in that game in terms of how tense the atmosphere was. But I just felt with this game, it was so stop-start that you could tell the frustration even probably about 20-25 minutes ago from the fans that. Like you said, Brentford turned up with a game plan, didn't they? They've turned up. They've got the goal they needed to get, and they weren't going to make it easy for us.
And the difference is, last season we didn't deal with that, right? When teams come with a tactic like that, we didn't deal with it. We dealt with it. Yeah, we left it to the 86th minute, but we dealt with it. We got through it, right? And I think that's the difference between us this season being proper title contenders of last season. I think we learned from that, and we've got a plan B now. And 60 million down the drain for that plan B, eh? What bad was it?
Yeah, not bad, is it? Not bad. I'm just going to go over to you, Lottie, on terms of obviously winning the way that we won the game on Saturday. Sometimes can breed a lot even more confidence than just going out and battering the team 5-0.
Yeah, not every game's going to be Sheffield United. Not every team's going to be Luton, and teams aren't going to roll over for us just because we're Arsenal. And that's the way it should be. Thing is, you want people talking about us and the way we play good football, and that's all people do now. That's what I love to hear. They all hate Arsenal. I don't care. In terms of the game, though, I actually didn't watch the game. I had other stuff on, so I didn't have the time. But best 65 million pound ever spent and given to Chelsea. I'm starting to see Bundesliga Havertz, and I'm just excited because I know what else he's got in the locker. I used to watch a lot of German football when he was over there. And he's got so much more to offer. I can't wait to see what else he's got in the locker as well.
Now, it's interesting you talk about Havertz because obviously he did turn up to Arsenal, a beaten up player, didn't he? His confidence was absolutely drained coming from Chelsea.
Let's be honest, Chelsea ruined him.
Yeah.
Chelsea ruined him, and they didn't know how to utilise him, whereas Arteta does.
I think another thing as well is it's easy trying to get his confidence back and plan doing that. But when you look at the Havertz to the start of the season to the Havertz now as well, like the amount he puts himself around on that pitch, the amount of pressure he puts on the players now in terms of the pressing style, like we didn't see this at the start of the season, but he's getting as nearly as important as Odegaard in terms of the pressing style. And like you said, it's about how excited can we get around regarding this player, because I agree with you. I don't think we've seen anywhere near the very best of him yet. And I do feel personally myself, and I don't know what you think about this, I really like him in that number 9 role because I think he can bring a lot of players into the game, and he brings out a lot out of the other Arsenal players.
No, he absolutely does. I mean, he does miss some absolute sitters, though. That's a bit of an issue for me at the minute. But again, that's confidence building. In terms of movement and everything, I'm quite happy with him. He's always on side. He's always finding space. He's always stretching teams. And that's what we've kind of been missing over the years. And we've also got additional height in the box, which I've been screaming we need since Olivier Giroud left. Because let's be honest, the Arsenal boys are short. I'm sorry, but they're short. And that's coming from a short person.
Well, there's a few of us here.
Oh, did I hurt an ego there, Liam?
Nah, absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's not an ego in here to dent an ego. Going over to you, Ryan. You was at the game. It was good to see you before the game, mate. Yeah. I want to talk about the atmosphere in the stadium from the start, because obviously Arsenal have done absolute loads, haven't they, in terms of obviously pre-match, which I think is having a massive influence on the team when they're coming out of the tunnel, and in terms of reuniting the fan base again. What was your thoughts, obviously, being in the stadium on Saturday in terms of obviously the pre-match build-up?
Well, like we saw against Newcastle, going back to Newcastle quickly, what they did for that in terms of the flames, the flags, the scarves, certain people took for granted, so we say, naming no names. And I think the club are getting it right, though. They're not just doing it for the odd big, so-called big games against the bigger clubs. They're showing that they want to do it for every game, every home game, especially if it's under the lights or day, but it's going to be nighttime and all that. They want to make the effort. They want to get the atmosphere going and get TV or not. We're going to do our bit. And I think the flags. I think that the introduction of the flags for the last couple of home games against Newcastle and Brentford, respectively, in the North Bank, is a genius because it gets the crowd interacting straight about 5-10 minutes before players come out. You're all there. Saw your picture of someone trusting you with a flag, and it was just it gets us going. It keeps everyone, because you mentioned earlier in the season, certain games this season have been a bit flat, and it's like North London Derby. You said that you was at that game. You said that it was so flat because it was so early and this, that, and the other. And the club are actively hearing these faults and seeing this, and they're going out their way to address it, and it's working. And don't get me wrong, Man City. I was at Man City going in the season. Man City, nothing. Unless something happens, I'm not going to say potentially what could happen this season. Atmosphere-wise, in terms of in-game atmosphere, Man City is the pinnacle. But Brentford, the fans didn't give up. The fans didn't groan. They didn't want to rip Aaron's head off at half time and things like that. It was a proper start to finish. We're beyond the team. And even in that second half, when we made the chance after chance, and the referee doing what and allowing. By the way, we'll get into that. We'll get into the bit, but allowing the flies of drop every 5 seconds. We didn't affect us. We went, okay, we want to get beyond the team, and we were all through it. When Havertz did that again, we all talk about Havertz and all that as well. Ben White, since he's been playing the inverted fullback. We've seen the Ben White from last season and better, in my opinion. He's just brilliant. I mean, the start of the season wasn't all that. He had a couple of knocks and might be a bit fatigued, but it's sort of like this new role he's been given recently is rejuvenated him, and he's just like, okay, and he takes it. He takes it with a pinch of salt. Like we said last season, best right back in the league last year. Don't get a Cole Walker my ass. Oh, he's got a bit of pace, big whoop. Ben White can defend. He can get forward. He can get back. He can now invert. And that's what he can't ask for much more. He's the most developed player Arteta's took on from when you think about when he got brought into the club. He was a player, could play centre back. He could play right back a bit. He played once off Blue Moon. Wasn't really comfortable. Tommy saw him in his first season. You could put him in midfield maybe. But then since last season, he's just been putting the right back. He's took it, he made it his own. And then recently, he's took on another, and he took the evolution of that role onto the inverted, and the 2 assists. You can't ask for much more than that from a fullback, and he's been brilliant.
No, yeah, I think talking about Ben White, I thought he had an incredible game on Saturday. Personally, my man of the match, I thought, just not even down to the 2 assists were absolutely incredible assists. You're talking about a guy that come to us as a centre back who's been converted to as a right back, but I don't know, G. When he first come into the team, obviously he done a really good job, but you kind of wondered how long he could do that job for. But Ben White is just obviously. He's just ripping up that scrapbook and saying I can't play right back for a foreseeable amount of times. He's taken the role, and he's taken it to a new level. Whether he inverts into the midfield or whether he does with that relationship with Saka, but I thought Saturday was one of his best ever games I've seen him play for the club, and I think that was kind of modelled in the 2 assists, and I think it was justified and absolute right that he got that assist for the second goal.
Yeah, I mean, you can just see it's kind of like, it's cliche, isn't it? But like, he's gone from being a boy to a man now, and he's so confident. Many times have said sometimes the way he looks like he doesn't really care, like a really flimsy pass. It used to frustrate me, but
yeah.
you know that he just doesn't really he's there to do his job. We all know he doesn't really like watching football. Probably doesn't even really enjoy playing it that much by his interviews and what he says. But he knows what he needs to do and he gets it done. And for years on here, we've been saying how desperately we needed someone to be putting the crosses in the box and then to have someone to attack them. And it's all very slowly fallen into place. I mean, both of those crosses were unreal. They're like your wish, aren't they, as a striker, or in Declan Rice's case, being there at the right time. But they were phenomenal balls. And yeah, it just goes to show, obviously, you got a goal in the last game as well. A great goal. It's my favourite goal of the game. And it's nice to see it then pay off, isn't it? Because it's sometimes you could be putting the balls in the box and it doesn't really, no one's there, and then you don't really get appreciated as much. But when it turns into goals and turns into winning games, then you could really, everyone sort of then realises how important that is. And as well, like you said, with his relationship with Saka is on another level at the moment. The way he supports him as well. I don't think if someone else was behind Saka, he wouldn't have the freedom he does of when Ben White's there. Because he always seems to know exactly the right time where he's going to overlap, or then the time that he needs to step back or just slightly drop into a midfield role to support him. I think his confidence allows Saka to have his confidence as well, which is just great, because sometimes, or maybe on the other side, not so much, they link up very well, and it's kind of an old school in this day and age, isn't it, having your defender supporting you and overlapping and ready to take on players rather than just passing it around. So there's a bit of old school about him as well, which I really do like.
Yeah, and I'm going to go to Oz on this one. I've just got some stats up for Ben White this season in the Premier League alone. When you start looking at them stats, they're pretty outstanding for a guy who's playing at fullback.
This is a guy that knows what it's like to play for Arsenal. He knows what it's about, right? I don't know if people have seen that whiteboard being shared from all the players where they could write something about playing for the Arsenal, and Ben White's put privileged. He plays a very calm character, but that's what he wrote down as what it means for him to play for Arsenal. Yeah, and this guy is one of my favourite players, like straight away. The point that G's made and Ryan's made about what he gives to the team is spot on. This guy, when we watched the Amazon documentary, I think Arteta said he plays every training match like it's a Champions League final, and that shows on the pitch. The guy's a complete athlete. Like G said, when he plays on that right hand side, the way he can cross the ball into box, it's like if they double up on Saka, they're in trouble because he'll knock it back and Ben White will cross it in. He just causes havoc, not just on the right hand side, but when you look at when he's in the penalty box for sort of shithousery, but he does give language. But that's what he does in the box. He creates havoc, and that's why we scored so many goals from the corners this season. It's not about yes, people heading it in and that, but the havoc he's creating is just causing panic. And that panic disrupts everything that the opposition team plan to do against Arsenal. And he creates panic, and you can see it's winding players up. He's clever enough not to get booked doing it most of the time. But yeah, and I just want to sort of touch on the point that Ryan made there about the inverted right, how he's coming in inverted. Like, obviously we used to rely on Zinchenko doing that. When Zinchenko was out of the team, we worried a bit, didn't we? Who's going to play that role? Who's going to play that role? And I think massive credit to Jacob Kiwior came in at left back. I always pronounce his name wrong. Sorry about that. But he came in left back, and he's really added balance to that back four. That's allowed Ben White to do what he's doing as well. And I think he should get a special mention because he's came in at the deep end. And has he looked out of place? Absolutely not. And I think actually going into the City match, looking at that, it's a tough call to take him out of that team now, the way he's playing and the balance he's giving. Because when Ben White is going forward and playing in that inverted role, if you watch, they all shift right, and he plays like a left centre back, left back. So he's actually creating a sort of stability there for Ben White to do what he's doing. But he's, like I say, he's causing havoc. I'm with you, Liam. Absolute man of the match for Saturday's performance. But to be honest, most of the games this season, he's one of my players he's on for player of the season for me, honestly. How good he's been this season. So yeah, love him. Absolutely love the guy. Could talk about him for the whole pod, mate. I'll tell you. I literally love the guy.
Yeah, it's a shame Southgate don't love him as much as we do, isn't it? Really.
Missing out, aren't they? Absolutely. Missing out.
Absolutely. Obviously going to go over to you, Lottie. Adam put it up. There's something I was thinking on yesterday when I was in a car coming back from somewhere. Declan Rice, obviously one of the best centre midfielders in the league, if not the best. I was actually sitting there thinking, is he actually up for Player of the Year, Premier League Player of the Year this year?
Sorry, new tech. I don't see why not. He's up there. That's for sure. Especially after that rocket against West Ham. I'll take that. That would just upset them even more, which is just great. He's definitely up there. In terms of anyone better, the only other person that's better than Rice, if he was still playing, would be Patrick Vieira, hands down. No one will top that. But obviously, he's not English. I'm just trying to think. Yeah, no, there's absolutely no reason why not. He shouldn't be up there, along with Ben White.
I'll go to you, Ryan, as well. Like, I'm trying to think here. Right? I'm just sitting around thinking around the Premier League this year in terms of like Player of the Year for the whole Premier League. I'm scratching my head at the moment to think of many better players at the moment.
No, exactly. You add into the equation. This is his first season. He's come from West Ham. With all due respect to West Ham, he's come from West Ham with David Moyes and that whole setup, the tactics and how it's played and this, that, and the other. And he even said, and one of his first games was at Wembley against City in the Community Shield, where most of us are at. And he saying on the pitch, he was saying, I've only been here a few weeks. I've got so much to learn still. But look how good he looked then. And he's still learning. He's still learning the Arteta way, the teammates way we want to go, game in, game out, week in, week out. This is just a start. You think we all think he's good now. Next season, watch how he explodes and dominates. I'm telling you, he's brilliant. And like he mentions Vieira, Declan this season so far.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
Has reminded me. No, not saying he's on that level, but he's reminded me in games the athleticism that Vieira used to bring, getting forward and backwards and doing the dirty work. And we haven't had that for how long? Literally since Vieira. With all due respect to Thomas Partey. What do you think I was going, Notty?
I was wondering where you was going with that one. To be fair,
I thought you were good. I'm not going. The words aren't even leaving my mouth. I thought you were going to say he's better than Vieira. I was going to say what?
Of course,
no, not
that naive.
Once Declan Rice gets the Vicks out, and then maybe we can talk about that. Have that conversation.
No. I'm not that naive or stupid or nothing like that. Literally, I'm just saying how it is. He can get to that level, obviously. But he's reminded me this season of what Vieira used to do for us back in these days at Arsenal. The athleticism, the getting the ball, driving forward, getting back, doing all the dirty work in the midfield for the rest of the team. And he's for example, this is, and what was it, 6-7 goals he scored just in the league alone this season. One of them against West Ham. One in there. Rodri's going to beat Alex and all that going Rodri and things like that. Like Rodri is not even English, so let's not go over that one. We talk about English midfield, and that's an English midfield, and also Rodri has been suspended, and yeah. But I don't. For someone that's come in again, we've seen it years gone by with Arsenal and other players as well from other clubs. Big price tags, and they can't. It affects them. It's not affecting them at all. And I think that's key as well. That's got to be play towards him being potentially the player of the season. Touch wood. But no, knowing the PFA and all that. But I can't think of anyone. Calvin Phillips has dropped off like a lead balloon.
I'll tell you an interesting stat I've just seen, which has absolutely amazed me. Talking about a player who come in on more money than Declan Rice, Enzo Fernandez.
I thought you were going to mention the other one that plays for them tonight.
No. That's his first assist of the season tonight in the Premier League.
And we're in March.
and we're in March. That's his first season, and then we're talking about Declan Rice. Chalk and cheese, isn't it? It's chalk and cheese.
Yeah.
Class and not.
Yeah.
I think if you look through the Arsenal team, how many players would you swap out at the moment? There's not many, is there? There's not many. You can go through that team, and you look at it, right? Do you remember like 2 seasons ago we were saying we haven't got a leader? We've got a team of leaders now.
Yeah.
But you could give that captain armband pretty much to Saliba, give it to him. Gabriel, give it to him. Ben White, you could give it to him. Odegaard, he gets it. Declan Rice. There's so many players for that team that could hold that armband. Even Saka,
Gabriel Jesus.
We've got a team of leaders. Credit to Mikel for that, because we have got a team of leaders now. When we used to, 2 years ago, we were saying we couldn't find one, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's incredible, isn't it, that we was probably all sitting here 2 years ago, saying that we need, like you said, we need leaders. We need people that are going to stand up and be counted and all that. And when you see that the turnaround, and if we're being totally honest, the turnaround has been absolutely amazing. Like sometimes I scratch my head and sit there and think, 2 years ago, I turned up for Chelsea at home on the first game of the season at home, and what was it, 2-0? We got back 2-0, wasn't it? But it was the most convincing 2-0 performance of all time. And when you sit there and think what Arteta's done in that 2 years, what players he's got out and what players he's brought in, it hasn't really been that much of a bad signing in them 2 years, has it?
No. I think that's what Ben White means about being privileged, privileged playing this team, because it must feel like it. It must feel like it.
But I love that. I love that like these players who do feel privileged, because you're going to get a lot more out of them. And they may not be the best technically based players, but do you know what I mean? Like that's what we haven't had in the years gone by. These players that are going to dig deep for the club, and it's amazing, absolutely amazing in terms of the contrast that obviously the football that we're watching now to compare to what we was probably watching 2-3 years ago, which is obviously massive credit to Arteta and the coaching team. It's just brilliant. But
talking about atmosphere, you see, they've created an atmosphere. They've given us that, and we're giving it back. It's all linked, isn't it? Right?
Yeah,
exactly. Like I said, like you'd go into a ground 2 years ago, mate, and there would be no build up. There would be nothing, would it? You'd be lucky if we're being totally honest. You would be lucky if there was still 10,000 fans still not sitting in their seats by kickoff. You look around at kickoff now, everyone's sat down in their seats. Yeah. No one wants to miss a minute of it. So it all reflects, doesn't it? It all reflects around the performances on the pitch and the players that are now playing for us, which, just it's brilliant to see. Just going to go into the chat quickly. Good evening to the Kermit's middle finger. How you doing, mate? Always makes me chuckle, that one. And good evening to the Hawkwind as well. Going to go back over to Lottie in terms of obviously the winning goal. I know we've said about Havertz already. You've obviously kind of discussed, obviously, what revelation he is to the Arsenal team now compared to where he was at his Chelsea days. In terms of obviously that late goal, do you see that being a massive impact going into the Tuesday game, winning like that way? Do you think there might be an added influence in terms of the motivation going into that game?
Yeah, confidence is higher, but the thing is, what Porto don't have this time round is the home advantage. Our Arsenal fans, the Emirates, when we're up for it, when we have the right set of fans in the house, no thanks to the ballot, fortress. You know that, especially as a season ticket holder. It's an absolute fortress. And this second half of the season, the club have actually realised that the ballot system has messed up the stands. If you look at the first half of this season, compared to the end of last season, you look at it and think, what the hell has happened? Because you've got all these tourists coming in on new memberships and everything else. And you go for, and then all of a sudden you switch it back. Everyone wants to be in their seats. Everyone wants to be there. And everyone wants to be that 12th person on the pitch. And that's what we really need against Porto. Because the way their manager carried on, it was like they beat us 5-0. Like, who do you think you are? This is our house. We're going to show you how to play football. That's what we need tomorrow. Surely
the team talk's quite simple then.
Yeah. Should be.
I know what I expect the team talk to be. I expect there to be some pictures or a video. For me as well, though, like, celebrate a victory, but it was disrespectful, wasn't it, the way they acted after the game, considering I know it's a 94th minute winner, but it was like you said, they'd come out and absolutely battered us.
It was a simple mistake from Martinelli.
Yeah,
that's all it was. Like if it was a decent goal, don't get me wrong, but if it was a worldie, then I'd be like, yeah, okay, fair enough. But it wasn't. It was a mistake from Martinelli. That's where it started from. It's not like they skinned us, and they didn't. So bring on Porto. You're gonna lose.
No, I think this game's good. I think it's going to be electric in there tomorrow night. I think it's going to raise the level again. G, even compared to like the Newcastle and the Brentford games, I think that start of this game, I think the fans know that they need to be the 12th man, and we're not ready to go out the Champions League, especially with the team that we've got and the way we're playing.
Exactly, and I think between us all and the general vibe online after that game, everyone was on the same page. It wasn't, no one was really kicking off about what had happened. It was like, right, let's just get to the home game and we'll sort it out. Which was so nice to see, because we were all obviously in the moment a little bit annoyed of how it happened and the kind of game. I know we've discussed how it was 51 or 57 minutes actually being played, so it wasn't really much of a game for a start, was it? But yeah, all the fans I think will be in there ready to go tomorrow night, because this is what we want, isn't it? We've wanted it for years again, and now we're here. We can't afford to turn up and just be quiet. We've got to create the same atmosphere as the last couple of games. It looks amazing. I know some clubs have looked a bit cheesy doing it before, but it seems to just fit well, doesn't it? And then with North London Forever on the go as well, everything is just connecting and clicking at the same time. So yeah. I think the boys will be well up for it. We've obviously struggled sometimes in the other cups the last couple of seasons, and you did kind of think, why are we just focusing on one thing? But this, if I would take that all day to go further in this one, and yeah, they've got nothing to lose, have we? It's 1-0. We're back at home, and we need to be in the next round. So I'd be surprised if we didn't show up tomorrow. To be fair, with how the momentum that we've got, but we've also got the fact that most of the team aren't really experienced in this competition either. So maybe let's just get out there, play it like it's the last game at the end of the day, isn't it? And get the job done. And I think we will. I can't wait for it. To be fair, it's going to be a long old day tomorrow. Waiting for 8 o'clock.
Yeah, it's going to be a massive long day tomorrow. As an interesting stat from Adam, we haven't won a knockout game at Emirates since 3-0 versus AC Milan, and we actually got knocked out that day, 4-3 on aggregate. Yeah. I remember. I don't know if you remember, Ozzy, that Robin van Persie miss when he tries to dink the goalkeeper.
Oh,
that stung that night. That absolutely stung. What's your thoughts in terms of tomorrow night? I mean, obviously, I'm expecting Martinelli to return tomorrow night. I think he's massively vital, and I do think that we missed his pace on Saturday.
He's not available. He's out.
Oh,
he's
not
available. He's not playing tomorrow at all.
Well, there you go. Didn't know that.
Starting, no doubt.
Yeah, I think Trossard will start. I do think that is a bit of a blow, to be fair. I thought we did miss him on Saturday. I'll go over to you, Ozzy, on that one. Sorry.
Yeah, so tomorrow night, right, we just need to... let's talk about the away leg firstly. I think when Arsenal try and sit back, I think they try to sit back, keep it tight, don't do anything stupid, don't give a goal away. And that's not the way we play. We play by going for people, right? And they score 3, we'll score 4. I think with this game, I think we just need to go for it and play our normal game. And I think we got probably tactically a bit of nerves as well, because we've got a young team, don't forget, right? So it'd been quite nervous going out there in that first game. So I think long as we go out there with our game plan, they're going to try and stop the game. They're going to try and do what Brentford did. They're going to dive at every opportunity. They're going to try and slow us down. But we just need to go out there all guns blazing, really, and just try and put them away. I think if we get an early goal, I think it's going to be a 3 or 4, personally. But the longer that game goes on, the longer the nerves are going to settle in, and we need to make sure as fans that we don't let those nerves go out on that pitch, because we just need to keep behind them and give it all we've got. Porto in good form. There's no kidding that. They beat Benfica 5-0 a couple of weeks or so ago. They won 3-0 away from home. on Friday. So they're going into this game in good form. 1-3 on the bounce. So since beating us. So yeah. So it's not going to be. I don't think they're a match for us at home. And I'll say worry. I'm worried about Brentford. I'm not as worried about this. I just think we're going to go out there. We're going to take the moment and put them away. And hopefully we've learned from the away leg for the next round. That's how confident I am. I think we're going through. And I'll be there tomorrow night, giving my all, and trying to be part of that noise.
I think it's going to be an interesting selection tomorrow night, isn't it? When I sit there and think now that Martinelli is ruled out, does he potentially play Trossard again, or will he maybe play Jesus on the left? Because we know Jesus' record in the Champions League is absolutely incredible. So I think it would take a tough decision not to include Jesus tomorrow night, if I'm being totally honest with you.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what he's going to do with that. I'll be honest with you. I thought Martinelli was nearly on his way back, so clearly he's not.
Yeah.
So no, I thought the same. So yeah, we just have to trust what Mikel knows what he's doing.
Yep.
Put our trust in him. And yeah, look, if Trossard plays, look, Trossard for me has been a better coming off the bench this season, but last few games he's been a bit different to that, hasn't he? So let's give him credit. Let's put our trust in Trossard if he played. Like I say, Jesus is a great shout because he might tinker around with it as well. So yeah, let's just see. But ultimately, let's just give them hell and let's go for it. I don't think we need to try and keep it tight, because I think when we try and keep it tight, that's when we look nervous.
Yeah, I've got my personal opinion tomorrow. I've got a feeling that Havertz might push back into midfield. I think Jorginho could miss out tomorrow night. Like you said, it's not that we do need to kind of sit there and be kind of constructive. We just need to kind of go from, and we're at home basically. Like you said, you're coming into our yard basically, and I've just got this feeling Havertz might drop back into that role tomorrow night, and we might see Jesus up top with a potentially Trossard on the left, but. The good thing about Trossard is if there's one chance that you want it to fall to, inside that box, he's your man, isn't he?
Yeah, no, it's a great finisher, isn't he? But yeah. Let's just see. Let's see what I do. I'll be interested to see that lineup now.
Yeah.
You got me thinking about Jesus playing in that team, playing across that. But look, let's just keep doing what we're doing. And yeah, the team will be what it'll be, right? We just need to get behind it.
Absolutely. That's why Mikel's paid the big bucks. What in terms of you, Ryan? Do you see good value in Jesus being selected for tomorrow night?
Like you say, it brings experience. He's played. I mean, every game he's played this season, from I'm aware, in terms of time. Yeah. He scored basically in every, or assisted in every game he played this season in group stages. So brings that experience the team lacked in the first leg, and I think Jorginho should start as well. Talk about experience and habits. But yeah, Jesus, he played out in the wing against Man City early in the season on the right hand side. So I don't see a problem why not. He played on the left hand side for City as well. I think he can put a shift in there, put Havertz down the middle, Saka on the right hand side. I don't see a problem in that, and it's a different question that the Porto defence will have to answer to. Because whereas the first leg they sort of had Trossard, didn't they? In the second half.
I suppose the good thing is obviously nowadays is that there is not an away goal, because that would have been the issue tomorrow night, wouldn't it? If they got the away goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be all sitting there right now. As a away goal, we'll be all sitting there thinking it's the end of the world. They're going to score really 3,000 or 4,000 goals.
And thank God that ain't a scenario for tomorrow night.
No.
And going over to you, G. Are you pretty confident tomorrow night that we'll see the job through?
I hope so.
That don't sound confident. That didn't sound confident.
Yeah, I always like to play it a little bit safe and be pleasantly surprised. But like I said earlier, I think we're all on the same page. We're up for it. We're in great form. And at the end of the day, if you want to progress, you've got to turn up, haven't you? Regardless of if we were the better team away or whatever, we've got to turn up and do the job tomorrow night and make sure that we are in the next round and progress further again. Because everything is an experience, isn't it? And the more they progress and win games, gain confidence, the more beneficial it's going to be. And like we've also said as well, we've got a good old break afterwards as well, isn't it? So throw the kitchen sink at it tomorrow, get the job done, and then they can enjoy a couple of extra days rest until the next one.
Yeah, and I suppose obviously the nice thing is, isn't it, that after this game on tomorrow night, that we're basically not got a fixture till obviously Easter Sunday, so it gives us a lot of time to be able to kind of obviously get a lot of recovery into players that are only just coming back, but also it is a nerve-wracking time because obviously players go away to the international break as well.
Yeah, that's the trouble, isn't it? You think, yeah, it'd be nice to have a few extra days off, but most of them are going to be off on their travels and playing in games that are pretty pointless at this point of the season, to be fair. But yeah, we've got to see it through, and hopefully, I mean, you can guarantee Rice and Saka are going to start for England, but hopefully we can get some other rest. Keep Ben White at home. He's fine. He'll stay at the Arsenal. And yeah, let's just hope we come out of it injury-free, dare I say, and then we could push on. But it is kind of also worrying me very slightly that there's quite a big break before the big one. I don't know about you guys, but it does make me feel like is the momentum going to die down by the time we go there? And it's not going to be an easy one, is it? But that's for a couple of weeks' time anyway.
I think it's an interesting fixture. I think like coming out of the international break, you ain't gonna have Man City like they're in the same situation as us. Do you know what I mean? That everyone's coming back from international break. I think it might be a key time to plan, to be honest, just straight after the international break. Might catch them a little bit cold potentially, but yeah, that's looking well ahead now. And I don't really want to look that far ahead. What I'm going to do, I'm going to get the score predictions, and then I am going to have a quick look at this title race in terms of the last lot of fixtures on all clubs before we end the show. So going to start back to front this time. So I'm going to go to you, Lottie, first. What are you going for tomorrow night?
I'll take 2-0 Arsenal.
Good stuff. We're heading to the quarters. You, Ozzy?
3-0. 3-0.
I'm with you, mate. 3-0. That was going to be my choice as well.
The goals this time.
Pardon?
Basically Southampton 3-3. Ozzy went home before our goals went in.
I know. Late night train.
To leave.
G, what are you going for?
I was also going to go 3-0.
Ryan?
Clean sweep 3-0.
So we got 3 3-0s and 1 2-0. So what we're saying is we'll see everyone in the quarterfinals. Hopefully, touch wood. Wait there a sec. Right. Obviously, last part of the show. Just going to have a quick look at obviously the title race as it is. Obviously, I suppose we should mention about the game yesterday. As we're going to discuss the title race. I'm going to go over to you first, Ryan. That was some game yesterday. If I'm going to be totally on the show, I think it's probably apart. I'm going to put it this way, right? Apart from when Liverpool playing Tottenham in the Champions League final, where there's probably the most nerve-wracking day of my life outside Arsenal. I think it just the thought of them wankers picking up that trophy just totally did me. And apologies for my language, but it is after the ball shed, by the way. Yeah. I couldn't watch the last 10 minutes of that game yesterday. I had to go for a walk, mate. It was just so nerve-wracking. And I was sitting there all through the game, and I don't know about you guys. I was thinking of every alternative, and I just couldn't come to an actual right answer. What do we rather want here? Do I rather want Man City beaten, or do I rather want Liverpool beaten, or do I just want to sit on top of the table? That is obviously where I wanted to go at the end of it all. But it was just one of the games where I was just trying to think, where's the best possible outcome here? I was even thinking the situation if Man City won and then they beat us, we're pretty much outside the title race before April. So yeah, it was a very emotional game yesterday. Even I felt even like as an Arsenal fan to watch that game.
No, literally. I mean, I was in the group chat on Twitter, and I was like, second half especially, I was like, as soon as they got the goal, I was like, yeah, Liverpool going to win this. They're going to win this. The DS chances after chance after chance after chance. I think they're going to win. They're going to win. And for me, like you say, I couldn't think of a positive for either one winning, because if either one had won, if Liverpool won, then they've got after winter break, apart from like Tottenham and Villa, all their games are winnable. And even Villa's winnable, but depending on what Villa turn up, basically, from what we saw yesterday. So you'd think then they're odds on if they'd won yesterday. City, like you say, beat them, confidence, coming to us after the international break, beat us, suddenly they're out of sight. So realistically, the draw was obviously we wanted to draw in the first place, but that was the ideal result, really. But it's so nerve-wracking. I've never been that, apart from, as you mentioned, the Champions League final, I've never been that emotionally involved in the game. Didn't involve Arsenal. It was, especially the last seconds, when, I can't remember his name now, I'm going to call him Dopey. The Belgian dope, basically, couldn't decide to either head the ball, boot the ball, or whatever. And by the time he decided to boot the ball, he took McAllister's chest off his body, basically. I have no idea how he got away with VAR. No idea, but I'm thankful he did, because otherwise it would have Liverpool winning the game, and as I say, they would have got up to be odds on, really.
It was one of them, wasn't it? You couldn't sympathise with Liverpool after what happened last week at Forest. When I see it, I walk back in. When I see it, I was like, I was calling Doku every name under the sun, if I was being totally honest at that point. For me, it was
Sorry, I was literally sitting there with my brother, and I'm literally, he's like, I'm cursing Doku every possible way you can possibly think of, because I'm thinking they're going to give the penalty. You bastard! You absolute, see you next Tuesday. You this, you that, Even afterwards, I was like, you could have completely thrown it out the water for us, but no. Whoever's in charge of BAR didn't have their glasses on, clearly.
Yeah, because I'm going to go to you on Aussie on this one. For me, it's a blatant penalty. I don't see it any other way. Anywhere else on the pitch, that's blown up for a free kick.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, Stonewall for me. But we've seen that quite. Do we need to go into what we've seen this season with what should be penalties?
No,
Trossard in our game got basically a high tackle and got him in a sin bin if he was in a rugby union match. So arms around the neck. We've seen it all, haven't we? Nothing surprises me anymore. I weren't going to go into referee bashing, but now you've started me. That's a problem. But the referee at the Emirates on Saturday, he lost to plot. Well, I think I can't remember his name now. What was it? Robert Jones. But he'd lost the plot on Saturday, didn't he? He completely did some decisions. He didn't even look like he knew what he was doing. But no, going back to the game, yes, Stonewall for me. But I just hope this title running doesn't have a turn like that. It's going to cost. For us anyway. I don't mind so much when it happens to someone else, but I just hope we're not talking about a shocking VAR decision the rest of this title running, and we just get to see us all three of us go for it, right?
Well, that's what we want, isn't it? And I'll go to you, Lottie, on this one. That's what we want. We want obviously we want to see Arsenal win the Premier League, but you want to see the team win the Premier League without a VAR cock-up being involved to kind of determine the outcome of where the Premier League goes. That was you, Lloyd.
Yeah, sorry about that. Just internet drop there. What did you actually say?
No, I was just saying that obviously we want to see the Premier League won by obviously the team who mostly deserves to win it, and not by. We don't want to be talking at the end of the season about VAR determine where the Premier League goes.
Oh no, of course not. Thing is, it's going to be like that anyway because they don't know they don't even know how to manage VAR themselves. They're talking about bringing it into other competitions and other women's football. They can't even sort themselves out in the men's football. How's it supposed to work anywhere else? I think for me personally, it is a three-way race at the minute. It could go either way. We do have Gary's mentioned that we've got the toughest ride at the moment, but I can see us coming away. I think the main issue is us parking the bus and getting draws out of games. That's where we're going to have problems. Like City, possibly Spurs, although Spurs is a bit more entertaining. If we get that draw, I just don't want to park the bus. I want to keep going. And I think Brentford's going to be the motivator for those.
Yeah, I think Gary said, like, we still go City, we still go Spurs, we still got to go Manchester United. But sometimes
they're not something to worry about at the moment.
no. But sometimes, G, sometimes it's better playing those teams because at least you know what you're going to kind of get, and it could work in our favour potentially like that because they're going to come out more, especially being away from home as well.
Yeah, exactly, and not to be disrespectful to some of the other teams, but they're Wolves away, Brighton away. There's still other hard games to go, isn't there? It's not just the big six, as we all like to call it. Everyone's going to be up for it, especially the longer it goes on. No one's going to want to just let us take the game, seeing as the form we have been on. So it's going to be tricky, and I think an interesting point as well. I saw on the show of the guys last night is that all three of us are at home on the last game as well. I don't know if you've noticed that, but we're all at home. So God knows.
I'm going to try and get this a little bit bigger if I can. Let's go down a bit. That should be right, I reckon. Yeah, that's much better. Just drizzle out Gary's rubbish. Only messing with you, Gary. Yeah, look, when you start looking at this, let's have a look at Liverpool's running first, and I'll go over to you, Ryan, on this one. Merseyside derby, that's not going to be easy. At Everton, they're going to want to upset them. Brighton, we know. You never know what to expect from Brighton. They can be good or they can be not so good. Obviously, Sheffield United you expect to be a gimme, but then they've got to go away to their biggest rivals as such, Manchester United. That's not going to be easy. United are going to want to upset them. Crystal Palace at home, you'd think they'd have enough there. Fulham away, you never know. West Ham away, you never know. Tottenham at home, that's not a gimme whatsoever. We know that Tottenham can go to stadiums and get results, as proved yesterday. Aston Villa away, that's not an easy game. And then Wolves at home. Well, Wolves have beat Tottenham and Chelsea already at their ground. So last game of the season, there was some nerves. Wolves might want to go there and cause a bit of an upset. So when you start looking at Liverpool's fixtures, they're probably not as easy as everyone makes out they are.
No, like you say, apart from Sheffield United, Brighton, it's like Brighton is the Jekyll and Hyde. You don't know what you're getting until the day itself. Everton have got something to fight for. Even though they got a few points back the other day, we don't know what's going to happen with the second amount of charges coming their way. They've got to get the points on the board, like it or not. People, much as we don't celebrate the Merseyside as neutrals, like woohoo. That's at Goodison Park as well, so that place is going to be hostile as well. But just because of what they're fighting for themselves, if they don't get a fight for you to say they'll go there and do what they've got to do, but Everton got something to fight for. Get them points on the board. Brighton, you never know. That's just on the day. Sheffield, Sheffield's just Sheffield. United away at Old Trafford. Again, United are scrapping to keep themselves in the race for that potential fifth spot of Champions League football, potentially. So they're going again, and plus it's the rivalry as well. Yeah, you can't really guess that until the day itself and see what happens there. Plus, you don't know if injuries, if Liverpool are going to get more injuries, because this is another thing with Liverpool. Yeah, they're getting the results at the moment with the injuries they've got, but how many more injuries, how many more kids with that they've got to bring in before their luck runs out with the kids that the company got? Because there's only so much experience you can lose before things start getting out of control, especially in the title race. There's a lot of pressure put on kids. Palace. I think they beat Palace. Fulham, depending on what Fulham turns up at Craven Cottage, because Fulham have given Liverpool an absolute nightmare early on in the season. The corresponding fixture, West Ham, if they've got something to fight for, if they're not distracted by European football or not, they might have something to fight for in terms of their aspects, in terms of where they want to finish in the league. Tottenham's never been a gimme for Liverpool. It's always been a tough end-to-end game, no matter who's in charge over the last 20 years. That's always been one of the most random games you can't call, basically. It just happens. Villa, again, if we get the Villa from yesterday, you expect Liverpool to do the job, but if Villa got something to fight for themselves in terms of cementing Champions League football back in the penultimate game, something to fight for. Also, that's the last game of the season at Villa Park. So that's going to be an atmosphere itself, especially if they're confirming themselves in Champions League football for next season. That's not going to be easy at all.
Yeah.
And Wolves is Wolves. I mean, Gary O'Neill's done a fantastic job like this season. And as it stands, they're fighting for European football themselves. If they've got something, they need a result. If by some miracle Wolves need a result, be a draw or something to confirm Conference League football. That's not going to be easy for Liverpool either then.
Yeah, an absolute interesting one in there for Liverpool. I'm going to go over to you, Ozzy, and look at the Man City fixtures. So, obviously, Brighton away has got to be announced. Obviously, we know the next game is obviously ourselves going to Man City, which I think is going to be probably. I think for us, I think that's going to determine for us where we kind of situate in the race at this point. I know it's quite early to say, but I think we can get a positive result there. I think the confidence that will get breeded through the squad with that could take us very close in the running. Aston Villa at home, it's not easy, is it? Like if Man City are not firing on all cylinders like they haven't been, they could get caught on the counter against them. Crystal Palace away, we know Palace is not an easy ground to go to, but I would expect them to get the 3 points. I expect them to get 3 points at Luton. Tottenham away is an interesting one.
Bogey side for them, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
they've got results against them. Yeah, I think Forest away is a tough fixture as well in terms of where they are in the league. I think there's no gimmies in this Premier League, is there? Let's be honest. We've seen that, right? The standout fixture for me, where I see points, is Fulham away. They've got 4 points off us this season, and they've got to play both Liverpool and City. I think they have a say in this Fulham. I just have you don't know what's going to turn up. Like Ryan said, you don't know what Fulham's going to turn up, but they've got a chance there. I think the Brighton away is a tricky fixture for them. But and Spurs, I think West Ham, bottom one, that's at home, isn't it? Yeah, I can't see him losing that. I'll try and do this with the Arsenal tinted glasses off, to be honest, when I look at this. But I think City have got the easier running. If I'm honest, they've got the squad. Like Ryan said, I think Liverpool are where we were last season. They're running out of squad. So yeah, the City game. The City games for me, the danger City games for me are the Spurs and Brighton away for sure, and then potentially the Fulham, where they're going to drop points. But they're capable of winning every single one of those games. Apart from, I'm not going to say apart from us, but they are capable of winning all those games, right? And we've got some tough fixtures to come.
No, and I don't agree with Carragher whatsoever, but I do agree with him when he says, I think when we get to the last 4 games, we somehow need to be trying to be 3 points ahead of City at that point. If it, with the goal difference as well, because when you look at it like that, if you look at them last 4 fixtures for us, you think, do you know what? Win the Bournemouth and Everton game, then we've just got to pick up a win either at Tottenham or Man United. And then hopefully the goal difference will obviously still be in our favour. But I think ideally going into the last 4 games, you need to be at least a few points ahead of Man City, if not 3. I think 3 points is the minimum with their last 4 games. I think if they get to the last 4 games, they're top of the table.
Yeah,
I think the writing could be on the wall at that point, knowing what Man City are like.
Yeah, absolutely. And make no odds about it. There's a few teams we're playing, and I won't go into our fixtures, but there's a few teams in that what we've got lined up. There's a few teams that would love to put one over us to stop us from winning the league. So yeah.
Well, I'm going to go to you, Lottie, on this one, and obviously I'll go to both you and G on the Arsenal one. So obviously looking ahead, obviously Chelsea are definitely one of the teams who'd love to put one over on us. Obviously that's the to be announced. Obviously Man City's next. Then we go to Luton at home. That's a midweek game. I'm under the lights. Brighton away on a Saturday evening at R5, and then Aston Villa at home. Wolves away looks like it could be postponed if they get to the semi-final of the FA Cup, which is a good chance at the moment. So that might get pushed back. And then you look at the last 4 games, that's where we need some massive performances, don't we? Tottenham away, obviously, North London derby. They're going to be well up for it. Bournemouth at home. Well, we know what happened at Bournemouth at home last year. We won't really want to repeat that one. Manchester United away. Well, we've got history at United away, ain't we? Winning titles. But yeah, they're going to be. It's interesting from the Man United point of view, though, isn't it? Because it must be awful for them when you think about it that either Liverpool, Arsenal, or Man City are going to win the league, and they could potentially determine where that goes. And then Everton at home. So I'm going to go to you, Lottie, first. Where do you see the slip ups there or the banana skins?
I'm going to have to say Aston Villa. It's the game that John McGinn's going to be back for. He's going to be fresh. He's going to be ready. And Emery always gives us a really good game, and that concerns me. And I think after watching the Spurs game, they're going to be a bit all over the place. But I think once they get McGinn back, they're a different team. You don't have a Villa without McGinn. He brings that aggression, and that's what concerns me. He deservedly deserved a red the other day. Other than that, I think, again, as I said earlier, parking the bus against City to hold up for the draws, and that's what concerns me. Knowing our past games, but Brentford could prove me wrong, I think. But winning the league at Old Trafford again, that would be absolutely glorious.
Yeah, it's a nice
to
thought,
see it twice. Yeah, to see it twice.
That's a lovely thought. Going over to you, G. What's the games that you see as being the potential banana skins there?
To be fair, I look at that and I just think, oh God. There's so much hope, isn't there, on it, and so much of our hearts are in on it, and you just think, oh God, please don't be someone, like, please don't fall apart in any of these moments. But I don't know. I guess it's the can we get to a point where we're maybe overconfident and overthink things and think we're going to go out and smash like a Luton or something, or a Bournemouth, and have a moment like we did last season against them. Maybe in those, it could be one of those that's we're not expecting, that's a low block and we can't get through, and they're gonna, at the end of the day, they're gonna throw it all at us, aren't they? Because no one's gonna want to let us have the title, are they? So we've got to be prepared in every single one of these. Man United away is going to be dreadful for the nerves that day. But yeah, it's, to me, every single one of those games for all of us is looking tricky, and I'm not looking forward to it. But we've got to strap ourselves in, haven't we?
Yeah, we definitely have to strap ourselves in. I think it's a good time to be optimistic about things as well. And I'm going to Ryan on this. Just looking at, obviously, players that we are getting back into the squad. And I'm just a bit mindful now that we have got the luxury after tomorrow of the 2.5 week break. Do we see Thomas Partey coming back into that lineup at some point?
I think not the international break yet. I don't. Being a squad tomorrow, I don't see him starting.
No, not tomorrow.
And then obviously after tomorrow we got the extended break now because of the FA Cup this weekend coming. As I say, it might seem depending on how your training goes during the break now. After tomorrow, you might see him against City maybe, just for experience. I don't know. Just depending on how players return from internationals and all that, how quick they've got back from their respective countries and all that. I think it'll be key. I think we can get back after the international break properly. Him and Tomiyasu, obviously Tomiyasu's back in full training today as well. We need all hands on deck, because that's been for the last couple of seasons. That's been our undoing. After the international break, 1 or 2 injuries, and our whole season falls apart. A couple of years ago, Thomas Partey, Kieran Tierney got injured, and our season fell apart from almost having 4th to finishing 5th, and all that happened there. Last season, Saliba went, Tomiyasu went, and our season fell apart from there. So it's the key thing for us, clearly, is keeping the players fit. If we can do that, we've got half a chance here. And I always say, just my thoughts on our running, Man City, for me, out of them fixtures, the first one for me is Man City. If we can get out of there a positive result, not just a performance, but the result, be it a win or worst case a draw, the win itself for me would breed so much confidence in this team going for the last 9 games then.
Ryan, are you calling for the double over City this season?
Oh, obviously I want that, obviously, because I think if we did do that, the mental strength that would give the rest of these players going forward, Luton, your Brightons and all that, and then obviously Northland Derby at the end of April and Man United in the end of the season, it gives them that mental block that Man City might have over us currently. That would be pushed to the side, and the mindset would be, hopefully, with the players, we've done 3 times now this season. They're the best of the best, not just in England but in Europe, and just kick on. But the players, it was all well and good. Our tech can set these teams up, but the players on the day have to believe, and they cannot be any holdbacks against Man City. If we can, as I say, if we can get the best result, and obviously you get a win. I'm not saying we are definitely going to win it, but that's half a job done, and then it's just the attitude of the players going on from now on in. The only other game that worries me in that running, not Man United. I don't think Man United concerns us at all, because the second game to this, they're crap anyway. It's the second to last game of the season. We have, as you mentioned, 2002, second last game of the season. We won the title there, so and they might not have anything to fight for by then, apart from pride. And even then, our team's still good enough to put them to the sword. The only one that concerns me is the North London Derby, which you might miss out, Liam, depending on certain things off air.
Nah, baby, what do you wait for then? I'm calling it now. If it ain't, I'll be squeezing it out myself before that North London Derby.
Lottie's face.
That didn't sound right, did it? That didn't sound right.
And I'm wondering what Sarah's thoughts are on this right now. So, you know.
No one needs to tell her. No one needs to tell her.
You say that as you popped up to the chat now.
Well, I'm off, mate. No, I think for me, I totally agree. The Tottenham game for me, like obviously Man City, I think we'll get something in Man City. I'm not saying we're going to win at Man City, but I think we'll get something in Man City. I think we're good enough to get a point. I honestly think, we will embed Thomas Partey back into his team by April. I think that's a massive plus for the team. Just between now and the end of the season, if he can get his form back between now and the end of the season, I think that is a massive piece in the jigsaw going away to all them games. I think if he's in the team and he's performing well, I think we beat Brighton. I think we beat Wolves. I honestly think we should win all our home games. I do agree with Lottie. I think Aston Villa is a bogey game at home. I think Chelsea is as well, if I'm being totally honest. Just because Chelsea will want to beat us, but I think if we're playing anywhere near our best, we should beat them. But as you see the other day, it's not always about just going into games and thinking you can beat teams at home. It's a different game at home sometimes because teams drop deeper. But yeah, I just think getting Thomas Partey back in that centre midfield for April, May time could be really influential in terms of us giving it a go right to the end of the season this time. And I'm not saying we're going to win it, because I think it would take an absolute monumental effort to go and win this title. To go away to Man City, to go away to Tottenham, to go away to Manchester United, and then still win the league, I think it'll be up there with one of the best league titles that we've ever got, if not the best.
Well, at least we would have earned it the hard way.
Well, we would have won it the hard way by that point, wouldn't we? But do you know, I just think that if we can stay lucky with injuries now between the end of the season, then we can get him back in the team and get him back to the level that he was performing and like at the start to the midway of last season, even to the back end a little bit. He did feel off at the end, but he was brilliant the first part of the season. We can get him back into that level with Declan Rice playing a number 8 role. I don't see any midfield being better in that midfield in the Premier League between April and May. Why should we be worried about what teams we're playing? They should be worried about us. And I just think if we can get him back, but it's big ifs, isn't it? And I hope we can get him back. I think for me, if we can get him back, I think we've got a chance of winning it. I think we've got a chance. If we don't get him back into the team before the end of the season, then I find it difficult to think that we'll win a title, if I'm being totally honest. But I'm hoping we can get him back in there. And if we can get Timber somehow back, even if it is for the last month of the season, You never know, do you? You never know. He could be back. He could be back in the squad by the time the end of March comes. That would be another vital piece. And we've got to remember as well, Liverpool are going to be playing Thursday nights every week. We're going to be playing, hopefully, every Tuesday and Wednesday night or every week. Man City are definitely going to be doing it in the quarterfinals at the very least. So there's all that to come as well, isn't it? All in terms of the European games. Who are we going to draw? Who are they going to draw? Do you know what I mean? What's that going to take out there? Man City haven't got the squad they did last year as well. That's the other piece to remember. Man City haven't got the squad they got last year, but what they have got is the know-how to get to win titles. So yeah, I think it's intriguing. I think it's brilliant to see in the Premier League, and I'm just obviously proud of our team that we've got an opportunity here, and I just hope we get that result at Man City, because I think if we do lose at Man City, then it's going to be a hard challenge, then, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Yeah, it is. Liam, just on the Timber thing, I don't think you were going to see him this season. As like, we're not going to see him. I know it's not a full degree ACL, but there's no way we're seeing him for the rest of the season. Been there, done that several times last season. Not going to happen. I mean, Viv is now back in that club again because the operation's gone wrong.
Yeah. Well, the good thing is we got the cover at left back, haven't we? Obviously Tommy Asu, we haven't even spoke about him. He's going to be coming back, and he's going to be an important piece, isn't he? Like in terms of the away games as well, I would have thought. Like when we go away to players like Tottenham, Manchester United, it wouldn't surprise me if we see him play left back. So he will be a big piece.
He's good at the big games, isn't he? But man marking and shutting games out. I think when Tommy Asu, there's no one better on our side. I think we can just man mark. I think we put him on a left, we put him on a right. When there's a dangerous player, we stick him on. I think Spring playing United when Rashford was on fire. You know, they brought him on, didn't they, just to take Rashford out of the game, and he did exactly that. He's one of these players, I think, Tommy Asu, you can bring on to target a danger man. I wouldn't be surprised, seeing him start against City.
So you wouldn't give Kivior a shot then, Ozzy?
I've sung his praises, but I wouldn't be surprised, give him a couple of weeks. Tommy Asu, like I say, a couple of weeks away. Depends on what the game plan is, doesn't it? Depends on what the game plan is. But he seems to use him to man mark people. Or if there's a threat from the wings, he'll use him on whichever wing. It'll be interesting to see what he does with Tommy Asu, but solid player though.
Beauty of Tommy Asu, you can play him across that back line like he does for Japan. So he's just such a utility player for that back line.
He has used him in big games before. Just he came out of the blue and started him in big games before. I think the first time we've seen him do it was against Salah, wasn't it? I think he just stuck him on.
Season,
yeah. And it shocked everyone, but he just came in the team, didn't he? And what a job he did, if you remember that. It'd be interesting.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's some interesting scenarios that can take place in terms of what we can utilise. But yeah, I think it all depends on tomorrow night, really, don't it? As well. I think it is literally about one game at a time at the moment, and I've seen someone go, "What's important tomorrow night or Man City?" Well, at the moment, we're not even at Man City, so the most important game of the season at the moment is tomorrow night, and I'm sure everyone will be bringing the kitchen sink with them tomorrow night to kind of get us over the line. So absolutely buzzing for it.
One game at a time.
Game at a time, mate. One game at a time. Obviously, thank you very much, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure doing this pod with you tonight. So, for just to go around and say my cheerios to every one of you. So, thanks for coming on, Ryan.
No worries. But before we do disappear, you thought you were going to get away with it after.
I did have a cheeky log on and cast my vote, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Well, the people have voted. 75% of people they do want to see what you got up to on Saturday. Courtesy of Joel, this is, by the way.
Brace yourself. Cheers, Joel.
Get hide your mirrors. That's all I'm going to say.
Thank you, Liam.
Nice.
There had been a few drinks by that point. I will add.
This was like 3 hours before kickoff, so it's all good.
Cheers, Ryan. Thank you very much. This was my last ever episode on the Mr. Arsenal pod, by the way. What shows you got coming up, mate?
So
On that note.
No, tomorrow watch along Arsenal v Porto. Obviously, anyone that's not going to the game, let me know. You can want to pop on, you can. So got watch along tomorrow, and then after that, because after that we've got women on Friday. So yeah, watch along tomorrow, watch along Friday, and just go from there really. Because obviously there's no we've got bloody international breaks after this weekend. Well, hey, and just go from there. But they're the two main things for this week. Arsenal Porto tomorrow, Chelsea women versus Arsenal women on Friday night.
Well, there was one plus on there. Gary's eardrums are broken now, so that's brilliant news. Thanks for playing that now.
Two of us, and I took my headphones out.
And there's been so I'm back, Ryan. I'm staying.
Thanks, Liam.
Adam's unsubscribed from that. He's probably gone by now after doing that singing. But yeah, no, thank you very much, mate. And Colonel, no, we're not going to see me in a mankini. No one needs to see that. But the folks would definitely be no on that one, mate.
What was I going to say? Colonel got a bit confused tonight. He thought this was a Jonesy show because he was mentioning Pat Butcher.
Yeah, well, yeah. You let yourself down there, mate.
Yeah.
Me and Colonel are not friends at the minute. Thank you for the apology, but I don't want to talk to you right now.
See you later, Colonel. There goes your comment, mate. Over to you, G. Thank you very much for coming on tonight. Give you a little bit of an evening off, didn't I?
Yeah, I appreciate it. But yeah, thank you as always. It's always great to chat all things Arsenal, and yeah, just a huge thanks to everyone on the panel tonight and everyone that's been in the chat. We appreciate it, and keep sending in your match day pictures.
Yeah, so I'll try to embed it in the end.
Yeah,
I didn't get them all on though, so yeah, apologies, but yeah, keep sending them in. Thank you very much, Ozzy. Both of you making a debut tonight, but I really appreciate having you on, mate. Hopefully we'll be able to get you on again soon.
Well, it's a pleasure to be on. Thanks, Liam and G, for having me on, and great to meet you, Ryan and Lottie, like old times. Right?
Definitely old times. I mean, you're not running away from hiding from the Arsenal goals. I'm not going to let that go. I'm not letting it go. Like, literally, he was sitting right next to me.
One time.
One time, and you've never done it again. It was the first time you ever did it as well.
Learn the hard way.
Yeah, you did.
It could have been worse. You could have done it against Man United, couldn't you? You could have
It was a Friday night. It was a Friday night. I was going to miss the last train.
No excuse.
You were driving that night. What are you talking about?
No, I wasn't. I was drinking that night.
No, that was the game after. Let's hit that back.
Yeah.
And thank you very much, Lottie, for coming on. Really appreciate it. Hopefully we can get you back on again at some point.
Yeah, no, thank you. I mean, I'm around for the women's if you're around for Chelsea. Hopefully get my pictures up this time. I know I sent a fair few to G for her to pick from. So
yes, definitely. We want them pictures for next week.
So looking forward to that. Got lower tier seats, so rubbing my hands together.
Brilliant. Well, I hope you have a great night, and up the Arsenal, and hopefully we bring home the 3 points. And
we will.
Stick one up Emma Hayes as well. That'd be even better. A win, that is.
That's the dream. Don't even go there. I know I shouldn't hate her because she was our assistant manager when we won the last Champions League, but I can't stand her.
Nah. Yeah, I'm with you on that one. I'm with you. And obviously, thank you to absolutely everyone who's been in the chat tonight. Really appreciated all your comments and obviously getting involved in the debate. So yeah, thank you very much. So we go on to Porto tomorrow. Hopefully, we get through to the quarterfinals of the European stage, and then we can have a couple of weeks break. I certainly need it, guys. Good night.